What's up, guys? It's VP. Today we're finishing up New Rules by Bekka911. It's 11:10, so who wants to wait patiently for 11:11 with me to make a wish? Okay, waiting patiently. Come on. Come on. Please. Please. Boop a doop a doop. Ba doop doop doop. Yep. Okay. Yay. Okay, everyone, make a wish. Okay, I finished my wish. Did you? It's probably still gonna be 11:11 for quite a second, so have fun. And I'm sorry if there's sporadic yawns in the middle of this. Maybe that's the cause of all of this. Thomas, don't start, Virgil said heavily. I have plenty of hate to go around. Oh, very funnel. Funnel? Patty's a funnel cake now, everyone. Oh, very funny, Virgil. You cute little muffin, Patton chimed in. Virgil just sighed. Thomas, you know he doesn't mean it. And Logan? Oh, right, that was Patton. Thomas, you know he doesn't mean it. And Logan, that was, helpful. When the chips were down, you are some very meaty points, yelled Cracker Jack. But this stuff is more than just silly or cheesy. And I'm sorry I keep bringing up food. It's just that the inside of this bag smells like first grade lunch with cafeteria and so my memories. Patton. Patton? Everyone clicks the fingers. Stay with us. Oh, sorry, Patton said sheepishly. But I really milked that bit. Waka waka. Logan wished that he could suddenly not exist. Lol. Okay, on a side note, I just realized? When most people put lol in a text, they're usually not laughing out loud. Maybe they think that lol stands for lots of love. Roman took over the conversation. What I think Patton was trying to say is that Logan has just proven that he is the worst, and that he's been the thorn in your side all along. Could you even contribute a little ounce of constructive input? I'm sorry. Could you even contribute like an ounce of constructive input to this conversation today, Doctor? Do the most, Virgil hissed, but all Logan could really hear was a low buzzing in his ears. He was the worst? Well, maybe it was better than being a machine. Maybe it was better than being a downer, a calculator, a nerd, a robot. Maybe it was better than being a puppet. Oh, bird! So that he could pretend that he wasn't really upset deep down. Being the worst was actually the best thing he could be if it meant that people took him seriously. Logan? Roman said, and Logan immediately zoned back in. Earlier, I made you angry. I do that quite a bit, actually. I provoked you, and you retaliated with violence, like a stupid caveman, but I am responsible for my actions, and my actions alone. So, I am sorry. Logan didn't really know what to do with that. Oh, well, that was very kind. Okay, well, I gave that a shot, Roman said. I still feel bad. Well, why not trying to express your feelings in a way that makes sense to you? Panning suggested. And then ensued one of the most horrible things Logan had ever taken part in. Roman sang him a song. He tried to protest, he really did, but when Roman was on a roll, there was no stopping him. It was like being trapped in a dream and knowing that you were dreaming and not being able to wake up. It was really quite horrific. Not because Roman was a bad singer, but because Logan hated extravagant extra performances. And then it just snowballed. Patton went on, and Roman went on, and Logan just watched it go downhill and wondered how his life had come to this. There was still music, as if the whole situation had become a musical, and Logan thought he could maybe sink out and nobody would notice. That was a quaint little review of things that we already knew, he said dryly. Now can our discourse resume those pressing matters at hand? Actually, Thomas said, that's for your benefit. Logan didn't scoff, but it was a near thing. I don't see how that could be relevant. Too late, he realized that it rhymed, and rhyming things means singing, and singing means songs, and he was a part of the song. Our goal's beloved, and you know me, he said back, desperately trying to ignore the part of him that was willingly to defeat in horror. I don't care for sentiment. That just served as a testament to the fact that, to me, you're negligent. Granted, he wasn't singing. He and Thomas and the others were having a rhyming conversation, and then Logan let the others take over and he was safe once more. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys. I can't English today. He listened as Roman accidentally gave away just how bad he was feeling. Guilt, an emotion Logan had been subject to quite often lately, stabbed through his chest. He really was the worst. Wow, Thomas said at the end of the song. Guys, that really helps me feel better. How? Logan spluttered. Thomas shrugged. I don't know. I don't have all my feelings worked out, but I don't know if that would have been reasonable to expect. Although, now I know where some of the issues are originating from. Roman sighed. Me too. Oh, do you, Roman? Logan challenged, because honestly, Roman had decided to switch his left brain cells for this video. They're originating with me. Logan blinked, because that really wasn't what he was expecting. Roman continued. Logan, I know I act like I'm not concerned with schedules or numbers or anything, but I am. I know that we have a responsibility and want everything to be the best it can be. It's so hard to create anything I'm proud of when I'm critiqued so harshly by you. And oh, that must be what happened with Dallin. Was that Logan's fault too? Yes. Yes, he was the one pushing Roman to do better. He was the one who pushed him to fix the mind blank. He was always the one. You can only manage an intelligent. What? Before he was sinking back into a whirling pool of guilt and facts that kept twisting. Nothing ever seems good enough, professional enough, serious enough for you. I didn't realize. Logan frowned. He'd been thinking that one over tonight, analyzing and rationalizing and fixing it. He'd apologized to Roman, perhaps try to confront Virgil again, see if he could undo his last mistakes. But he wasn't the only one at fault. Well, likewise, you think I'm not concerned with the quality of the product. I do hold that as a priority. Well, that's not exactly my specialty. He fumbled a little as his realization crashed through him. Wait, I was getting frustrated that instead of carrying on with the conversation, we were stopping to sing that random song, but that song was part of the conversation. That song was part of the conversation. Well, yeah, Patton gushed. Sometimes talking about feelings can be scary or overwhelming, and it's easier to pursue them out in a way that you understand, better than internalizing them and hoping they'll just go away. It did make things easier, Roman admitted. Oh, so these things that we do sometimes, Logan said slowly, connecting the dots in his head. He was done with this video. done with the situation, done with not knowing. Well, they are. Silly. They can be constructive and effective, no matter what we do, Virgil said, and there was something dangerously close to forgiveness there. Logic always has a part to play, Logan. Maybe so, Logan said, an unfamiliar, vaguely uncomfortable, warm feeling spread through his chest. Perhaps there's room for me to participate in the conveyance of ideas through unconventional means. Logan, Thomas said quietly, that's exactly what I need to hear. Knowing that no matter the medium, information, ideas, and art can be expressed effectually and intelligently, Logan finished firmly. Maybe it's time to ask yourself another important question, Panic suggested. Thomas nodded. Why did I never question people's belittling views on what I do? I always thought people were fair not to take my work seriously. I never considered the subjectivity of what can be taken seriously. Pan shed the puppet, throwing his very human arms out in excitement. Oh my goodness! Breakthrough! I'm getting emotional! Virgil, hug me! Oh, don't hug me, Virgil grumbled as Pan squeezed him. I'm scared. Logan cleared his throat, looking down for a moment to gather himself. He understood now. All right, maybe there's some knowledge out there that I was not privy to before. Not that I was wrong, but I should be open to more sources. He looked at Roman, at the stupid puppet chin, and swallowed his pride. Roman, I suppose I could be less judgmental with each idea you create. In an instant, Roman was also back to his human self. Um, thank you, Logan. That, helps. The thanks was genuine, and Logan hoped his apologetic look was taken as genuine too. He's hurt too many people already, simply because he just hadn't understood. I I don't suppose there's anything that I could do to make it up to you, he ventured. Oh, Roman's eyes sparkled. Yes, you could become a puppet. Only if you want to, Virgil was quick to add, and Logan wondered, when he looked at his fellow side, if that was Virgil's way of forgiving him too. He let out a breath. No. You three have proven that it was a worthy form of communicating ideas, so... He hesitated for a moment, because his imagination could only stretch so far as the word robot was still circling his head. He wasn't sure that he could confront that part of himself yet. He risked a quick glance at his friends, and decided that for once he would just let go of his irrational fears and just play along. So he focused on that word. He cursed the cursed word that hounded him, and he embraced it. He expanded, and somehow this made sense in this context, he supposed, and covered him. He felt a pinch, and then there was one thing he feared since the beginning. Pan gasped, Wow! Of course, then he proceeded to stab his eye with his glasses, and he was still a goof, but Logan appreciated the wonder all the same. You iron giant nerd, Roman said cheerfully, and somehow Logan managed to appreciate it. You're not made of felt. Virgil sounded surprised, and Logan would have smiled if he could have. Of course not, he said. I have never felt anything in my life. Except guilt, sorrow, and anger, and you know what? He wasn't going to go there. Not now. Not when he'd taken the giant step forward. He wasn't going to face that until much, much, much later. Thomas then went to do his usual thank you and speaking to the audience, and Logan simply allowed himself to experiment with the part he was playing. It was enjoyable, more than he thought it would be. Of course, there was the problem that he couldn't change back. It was irritating more than anything, because while you could understand the enjoyment, such foolishness quickly grew tedious. His patience was wearing thin. He endured it for the end card, but immediately concerned Roman politely requesting instructions as how to turn back to his usual body. "I'll tell you," the girl said, "if you promise me you'll make yourself a new dream." Logan sighed heavily, because despite his latest developments in understanding, he couldn't move past the belief that dreams were for the hopeful and naive. Uncomfortable, but acceptable. Roman offered him a smile. "Just focus on being yourself." Again. "That's it?" Logan said incredulously, but Roman was already starting off. "Roman, please, I can't." He trudged back to his room, to his privacy, so he could face no further humiliation. Focus on being himself? Honestly, he'd do it, though, out of necessity. He closed his eyes, because that was the most rational thing he could do in a situation like this. He concentrated. He pictured himself as appearing in videos, calm, collected, necktie, glasses. He brought forth memories of logic, of debate, of rational decisions. It didn't work, and Logan really had no idea what to do. Chapter 13. Patton's room smelled of oranges, and the smell was sweet as Logan shuffled through the doorway, his entire body clinking and rustling. "This is ridiculous," he muttered to himself, feeling embarrassed. "Patton?" "Well, shucks, Logan, you're in my room." Patton appeared with a soft pop, grinning. Logan huffed. "Yes, I am. I require your assistance." Patton laughed slightly as Logan attempted to shift his glasses. He failed horribly. "You're stuck like that, aren't you?" The parental side guessed. Amused, Logan nodded in defeat. "And you want me to help?" "If you would be so kind as to offer your assistance, I would not turn you. I'm sorry, I can't English. I would not turn you away." Logan sat on Patton's bed, his earlier rush of warm, unfamiliar, but not wholly unpleasant feelings gone. Instead, he was swamped by frustration and embarrassment. "What am I doing wrong?" he asked. "Roman told me to focus on being myself, but it is not having the desired effect." Patton frowned for a moment. "Well, what part of yourself are you focusing on? If you shut out certain things, then you're shutting out parts of yourself, and so it won't work." Logan took a deep breath and tried again. He welcomed the cold, pure logic. He pictured his necktie, his face, and his hair, and Thomas and his duties, and everything he was. When he opened his eyes, though, he was still a puppet. Was it his fate to be stuck like this forever? "Talk me through what you're doing," Pat instructed gently, sitting beside Logan on the bed. They didn't touch, but there was a sense of comfort anyway. Logan gestured helplessly. "I'm just trying to focus on myself. It's not working." "What specific parts are you focusing on?" And so Logan informed him, and then he tried to emphasize his point. "This is hopeless," he declared, feeling oddly upset by the notation. "Creativity is not my strongest aspect. Logicality. I'm doing everything I've been instructed to do, and I'm still stuck like this." "I know what you're doing wrong." Patton's voice was sure and sunny and soft and understanding. "Logan, you still have emotions. We all know that you're not a machine, despite what you seem to think. You feel things." I feel to see I fail to see where you're going with this." "Well," Patton gave him a gentle smile, "you're focusing on the mechanical aspects of yourself. What you look like, what you do within Thomas, how you act. What you aren't focusing on is how you feel. Happiness, sadness, anger, guilt." Logan let out a haul. Logan let out a long, heavy breath. "Focus in these emotions will change me back?" Pan shrugged. Find out for yourself. Reluctantly, Logan closed his eyes again and took a deep breath, savoring the smell of oranges. It calmed him, somehow, centered him and grounded him and cleared his mind. Drawing a conclusion from Patton's words, he searched in the darkness and found something familiar. It was like he was standing in front of a wall of glass, and he thought he knew it. Beyond the glass, there were swirling colors: purple, pink, orange, gold, black, blue. Sorry. He knew this wall. He'd built this wall. He shoved everything he didn't understand beyond this wall, and he kept it out. These were his emotions, locked away because he didn't understand them. This was part of himself he had to focus on and accept to change back. You're not a machine. The realization shot through him like an electric current, and he bit his lip, staring at the wall, the glowing barrier he made up in his mind, and flung out his arms. It was like a dam breaking. One crack followed by another started spiderwebbing along the glass. A hollow scratching noise filled his ears, and he watched the glass fracture further and further until finally the wall shattered and the colors filled the darkness, bright and brighter. There, Pan said warmly, and Logan opened his eyes. He pressed a very normal hand to his chest, and wonder's warmth filled his heart. All the emotions had repressed over time, flooding through him. Fantastic. No, fascinating, he breathed. Pan had hummed slightly, tilting his head. There was something vulnerable on his face. I guess you're a real boy now. Real boy. That had been his dream. Be a real boy. Logan stared at his fellow's side with wide eyes, feeling almost overwhelmed by everything. It was happening too fast, too unfamiliar, too much. I'm not. Pan just shrugged again and stood up, smiling brightly. One dream down, millions more to go. Okay, I could be incorrect, but I think this is the last chapter. It's not like it's in full caps at the top or anything. It took Logan just over 2 days to decide how to apologize to Virgil and begin the path to friendship. They had reached an understanding once before, but the numerous situations that had arisen and erased any progress they made. Logan regretted it, losing the balance between them. He just had to take steps to build it up again. He went to Roman first, because despite Logan's emotional development, he wasn't creativity and required help. He described what he needed swiftly, in detail, and Roman offered him a rare smile before molding creative energy to craft the item Logan requested. Logan thanked him and turned to leave, object held in hand. Roman said, I owe you an apology. Logan frowned slightly. For what? You never ridiculed me during my situation with Dallin, Roman said, and his voice was tight with shame and guilt. You tried to help, and I repaid you by blindly insulting you with nicknames that I should have known would have hurt you. Roman. I should have learned after Virgil's depression, but I didn't. I held on to the false sense of superiority I had, and for that, I am sorry. Logan adjusted his glasses and allowed himself to smile a forgiving smile. Some of the guilt left Roman's face. I harbor no ill feelings towards you, Logan said quietly. I made my fair share of mistakes. I handled Virgil's situation poorly, and that had tarnished things between us. But my actions came from unrestrained emotion and lack of knowledge. Your actions were the same. I refused to be a hypocrite. But nothing, Logan said firmly. You and I have created our own compromise. All is forgiven. Roman nodded. Then I bid you farewell, he said. I hope that you and Virgil come make amends too. Logan nodded back and walked away, tightening his grip on the object in his hand. He hadn't realized how much he needed those words from Roman. How much The nicknames and snide comments had been festering inside him like an infected wound. He'd believed he'd merely let him slide off him, but he hadn't. He'd held on to them, and now he couldn't let them go. He'd already forgiven Roman. Maybe he could start forgiving himself, too. He didn't go to Virgil's room. One, because he hated the helpless panic that had overtaken him when Virgil had ducked down and they'd venture after him. Two, because he already asked Patton to get anxiety into Logan's room, so there was no point in going to Virgil's room anyway. He took a moment to breathe, swallowing down a sudden suite of irrational nerves. He knew that if Virgil didn't accept the gift and apology, then nothing would have changed between them, and it wouldn't be the end of the world, because part of Logan just still desperate to fix his mistakes. He opened the bedroom door. Virgil was lounging on Logan's bed, talking to Patton. The two of them were laughing and using big hand gestures. Logan felt awkward for intruding. "Virgil?" he greeted politely. "Patton?" Patton grinned at him wryly. "Logan!" Virgil just apprised him coolly. "Nice to see you back to normal," he said, and Logan ducked his head slightly. "I assume you have a reason for me having here?" "Sorry, not English." "Fine." Logan deserved that in anonymous. He'd been instigator for Derek in the whole messy, complicated situation. He could handle it. "I will not pretend to understand what your relationship with Derek was like," he began, and Virgil stiffened. "I will not pretend to understand your struggles. What I can say is that I take responsibility for my actions, and I accept my role as antagonist in your story." Virgil stared at him for a while, and Logan felt the urge to fidget under the heavy gaze. "Right," Virgil said slowly. Logan sensed that he was losing the battle, decided to change tactics. "Here," he said, holding his hand out. Virgil reaches for the object, looking at Logan quizzically. "I know that you're fond of the fidget cubes so much, and they distract you and calm you down. I also recognize your fondness of Rubik's cubes and your frustration with not being able to solve them." Virgil flushed slightly. "I asked Roman to make you this." "And this is?" "Well, I simply combined the two." Logan cleared his throat. "The buttons are colored on each side of the cube. One will light up. You must figure out which color comes next in the sequence, and continue until all the buttons are lit up. Once you have completed it, it will automatically rearrange itself, and you may do the process again. It should be entertaining activity while also distracting you and calming you down." Virgil pressed a random button, watching with wide eyes as the button glowed blue. He pressed another button, which flickered before the sequence started again. Quickly, he found the next button in the sequence, which in turn lit up bright green. "Thank you," he said a little breathlessly. This is kind of cool." Logan took a steadying breath, finding comfort in Patton's small smile of encouragement. "I also owe you an explanation." An explanation, not an apology. Logan had attempted an apology, and it only made things worse. He was not built for apologies, and found it hard to swallow his pride. What he could do, however, was explain. And so explain he did. He settled into his desk chair and told Virgil everything he'd once told Patton. He admitted to his fear, his out-of-control emotions. He talked to Virgil through all of it, and then he held his hand out. "You do not owe me your forgiveness," he said very quietly, "but I would appreciate it." He simply didn't know what to do with himself when Virgil grabbed his hand, not for a handshake, but to pull him up from the chair into an embrace. "Of course I forgive you," Virgil muttered, voice thick with emotion, "and I'm glad you've forgiven yourself at last. Logan hesitantly wrapped his arms around Virgil. He said nothing, but when Virgil stepped back, cheeks slightly pink, his eyes said it all anyway. Logan chose not to comment on his proud tears in Patton's eyes as the other side stood up and grabbed both Logan and Virgil's hands, pulling them out into the hallway. "I'm so proud of you," he whispered to Logan. Logan only glanced over at Virgil, who was smiling freely. Then at a dinner, everyone was laughing, and Logan was finally at peace with himself. Okay, that's the end of the book. So, in case you guys don't know, the next book in the series is Patton's book Tomorrow, as demonstrated here. Well, in case you didn't know, Patton's book is still in the works. It's near the end. Like, we're around chapter 10, 11. I forgot which one, 10, 11. These things usually end through 13 through 17, like in the mid-teens. So it's almost to the end. But Logan's book is obviously, not Logan, Patton's book is still obviously not going to be done for a while. And each chapter takes like a month to make. So I'm letting you guys choose what you want me to read next. I could start reading my own story. I could read this one really cool story I found. I could start reading No, Maybe Yes. I could start reading multiple stories at once if you guys want. I just don't want you guys mad at me for not doing things right. Because that's the last thing I would want. Yeah. At this point, I don't really know what to do. I feel like I need to explain another thing, but I don't know what to explain. Well, if you guys have any questions, just leave it down in the comments. I'll answer them ASAP. But, school Friday is a field trip. And I would say, since we are allowed to have our phones, I'll stay in contact with you guys. But guess what? I'm going to have no Wi-Fi. So I'm just going to have my friend record for me. And I'm going to make a vlog about my field trip. So, that's going to be fun. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be the funnest. Oh. My friend's not in my group. Yeah, the funnest thing. So don't forget to subscribe for more me not Englishing while reading books. And until next time.